think I've got it going here. If I do, good. Well, this is my first live stream, so I hope this is all working pretty well. Yeah, just gonna do the DrawABox exercises here, and then the 50% rule. This won't be as entertaining because I'm not going to be writing out a script for this. Just gonna be hanging out with me here. Hoping to have a good time. So I think the first thing was superimposed lines. So what I'm gonna do is pull up the line tool here. I did just click A4 paper, and I'm going to look at his reference and draw out a copy I can do. It looks like he does about 6 here. And some closer to medium length ones. Looks like he does some curves right here, but we'll save that. So what I'll do is I'll just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like he does about 6 again. All right. So I think that's done there. And I think what I'll do is I'll just zoom this into a... Oh, the 100's not going to work out. Let's try 50. Yep, 50 I can get the whole thing on. Okay, and then all I'm going to have to do now is go ahead and pull up his little legendary brush. Make sure it's clean, big enough, happy enough. And then it looks like we're supposed to do 8 on each one of these. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to use my shoulder more. I think I do tend to draw from my elbow. So I'm going to find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this digitally and not traditionally, it's because I just simply don't have any interest in doing it traditionally. I'd rather use the skills here to practice my digital control. I don't intend to ever draw digital, and if I do, it's skill I'll pick up later. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am gonna try to not do the undo. So I'm getting fraying right there, as he called it in his lecture thing. Yeah, I'm gonna try to not undo. And I think after an hour or so of doing these, that's when I'll switch to doing the for fun thing. So yeah, just gonna lock in. Oh, not that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Horrendously interesting commentary, I know. Yeah, so I just looking to have fun. That one turned out pretty good. Yeah, looking to have fun, just wanting to improve. I don't really think the line control is something I need horrendously. I think I'm pretty all right at this. I mean, obviously, there's room for improvement here. But like I was saying in that Mark Brunet review video, it's less so that I'm incapable of it, but this is probably just good enough to move on. So I think I'll probably end up just doing what I need to here, and then moving on. Not realizing how hard it was to draw and talk at the same time. That's crazy. Yeah, just doing what I need to do here, and then move on. One I could see doing is the planes ghosting exercise. I could see doing that one a lot. Um, just because, well, I mean, it's good because like it gives me a direction of the plane for 3D space, which is kind of what I've been struggling with, you know. Um, that's kind of like spatial reasoning is the big thing I want to get out of this DrawABox thing for me. If the music ends up being too loud, by the way, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Oh, I overshot right there. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Oh, 1, 2. So yeah, I'm kind of looking at this whole thing right here, right now, as a study with me session. My cat does appear to want to get into my zone right now, though. So if you hear my mic fizzle or me patting or moving somebody, that's my cat Luna. She's adorable. It could be my other cat, whose legal name is Astaroth, but we call him Big Man, and he's a cutie. He's kind of like a dog. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, maybe I'll make a pet channel in the Discord and post some pictures of Big Man and Luna over there. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so that was easier. I'm gonna scroll over to his thing real quick and check how he does these curves. Looks like he does one curve like that, a couple C curves, and then one more round curve. So we'll do that next. Make sure I keep the chat open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So it looks like I have a problem with ending less so than starting, which I think is fine. It sounds like as long as you can get this center point to be not very frayed, from what I'm understanding of DrawABox, you're doing pretty good. It's about the confidence of the stroke and making sure it's a fluid motion rather than a copied motion. Superimpose seems to be trying to stick to it, but I'm still trying to stick to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one, not nearly as good, but it does kind of look like an eye. You know what I mean? So that's cool. My headphone is dying, so I'm gonna put in the other one and take this one out. And we'll go again. So I'm probably just gonna be more on the quiet side. It's kind of like a study with me session. If I see anybody join or talk, of course I'll respond. And if I think of anything or if I see a mistake or anything, obviously I'll point that out as well. Because we're not perfect here. I'm trying to show you the messy middle. All right. Oh, all right. So as you can clearly see, I do have fraying in the beginning on these longer ones, which I guess clearly shows me these longer ones are kind of what I need to be working on if I want to get better. Having a harder time struggling. It looks like they curve a little bit more. That's okay. We'll get better with time. So we'll keep going there. Oh, not that one. I'm also I am relying. This is probably why they don't want you to do digital. I am relying on Control Z a lot here. Um, I don't I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. This is the downside of working digital is that habit. I'm gonna try to keep that line there or mistakes I make there in general. If I don't just kind of make the mistake and default do it. I'm very spoiled digitally, but that's the preferred medium. What I don't intend to do is go into liquify and push a line or anything. The lines will be what I've drawn, you know? And the reason they want you to do it fast is because if I try to do it slow, that's what that looks like, right? So it just gets a little bit wobbly. And a fast line kind of forces your mind to keep it smooth and fluid, right? So you want to make sure you're focusing on that start point, shooting to that end point, lifting your pen up around that end point, right there, lifting it up, and try not to overshoot. It's fine if you do, but trying not to is the key there. All right, so looks like that there's our first page for DrawABox. We'll go ahead and tab here. We'll lower the opacity on that one. And then what I'm going to do is click on this second layer. And I think this time what I would like to do is click onto this red color I have here. I'm fine with these being red so I can see it when I'm drawing over the black. That's what I think. And then we can get the guide in here again. I'm not being too precise about this. Precise enough, but not horrendously. Get in these long lines here. Not making sure they match up because we're doing happy little accidents. All right. Then we can turn this layer back on and then open this layer. Go back to our black color and our pencil there. And then let's see, let's go back to 50 zoom and get started again. I'm on the right layer. Yes, I'm on the right layer, and we're gonna keep going. This music might be a little too loud for me, actually. So I'm gonna turn it down just a smidge. It is a free and copyright music playlist of Lo-Fi Chilled Beast that I put in the description of the stream. If you would like to check it out yourself, please do. We love Lo-Fi. I generally use some pretty chill music when I'm editing the video just because I don't want to make it the point, but in the stream, it's like, well, I'm probably gonna be pretty silent. Might as well enjoy the music. think I want to change this to be just a little off black. All right, so now we're on to the medium lines. Looks like I came apart right here, but oh, looks like I come apart right here at this point in general. Well, that's something to improve on, of course. But we'll get there. We'll be getting there. All right, so next up, just gonna keep going. Didn't really like this one. I kept trying to overcorrect to get back onto that line there. You know, maybe it's something to learn, you know, maybe that kind of comes naturally as we get better and better, you know? I don't really know. I've never tried. I think what I will do, however, is this top line before I do these curves over here. So, oh, so these were definitely much more rough, but that's okay. So we'll do a curve, a curve, a curve. So, oh, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, since we have a stream, I might as well talk about like, you know, why I wanted to do webtoons. I grew up and I really liked them. That's it. That's really all there is to it, is I really liked them. I wanted to be able to create it myself. Uh, you know, but I never had the skill to do it, so here we are doing it now. It's never too late. All right, got that done. So now we can keep going here. Looks like I have a tendency to fight under where I'm moving, so I need to start fighting over, I think is what that said. That one's kind of rough. This one's not so much a line, more so a series of lines. But that's okay. That's all right, so that completes those superimposed lines there, zoomed out look. Next up is ghosted lines, which I believe is just making a bunch of points on the canvas and then kind of like, if you can see my cursor, I'm not actually too sure. Let me just hide this. So my cursor's gonna be in this area right here. Like very like drawing it, like imagine this motion without actually putting my pen onto the tablet here, and drawing lines from point A to point B. I'm just gonna fill out a page of that there and call it. So yeah, we're gonna see what's going on with that. All right. So put a dot there, a dot there, a dot there, a dot there. Let's just put them all over, all random like. Not even gonna count. Just gonna put them all on the page. Okay, so we'll do from here to here first. Okay, ready? Gotta use my shoulder. Gotta remember that. Okay. And then DrawABox did say you can rotate it to however is most comfortable to use. So that's what I will do. Oh, shot for that. Another shot for that. That's okay. You know what? Let's try to get up vertical there. Nope. Just get that one raw. And you know, for fun, let's connect these two here. Stroke. Ooh, undershot. That's pretty good. All right. And then we'll do this one. Then we'll just put a dot there because it looks like I didn't have enough. And you know what? Just because I want a little bit more practice. 8, 9, 10, 12. Let's just do a cutoff here. Let's make it look fun. That sucked, but that's okay. All right. Let's connect these two right here. All right, that was pretty good. I will connect Oop, overshot that one a little bit. That's all right. This one might be a little too curvy. Let's see. Let's shoot. Let's shoot. Let's see. Let's shoot there to there. Nope. This one's pretty rough. But again, that's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're learning. All right. So that one's got its home. Looks like that's the only one without its home right now. So yeah, I suppose that's it for today's ghosting lines. You know what I do want to do though? Let's make sure this is there. Yep, that'll be convenient. Maybe I should separate. You know, after the stream, maybe I'll separate this out into different project files, so I can have the time lapse for each one of these guys for you. All right, so next up, this is where this is gonna get a little bit more rough. Is these boxes, because I don't actually fully understand what I'm supposed to do on these. I think the goal is kind of just to start. So what I'm gonna do is zoom back into that 50% there, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make random planes. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should ghost it, but all right. Put a dot there. That works. Put a dot. Put dot there. That works. And then all we gotta do is connect to the dots. Then we'll make a line again. Put a dot to where we want to go, and then whoop, put a dot to where we want to go again. Ooh. We'll ghost again. Nope, did not like that one, but well, we're stuck with it. And then whoop. Commit to that. And then go ahead and draw like that there. We'll go ahead and put a dot outwards. Turn the page a little bit. Make my life easier. Then ghost. Yep, that worked great. This ghosting method's actually kind of nice. Kind of nice, if I must say so myself. It's not so much that I can't do a line without it. It's more so that like the line feels like it has intent. It feels like I've done what I just did there. We saw where I overshot down right there and overshot up right there, and then this medium line kind of followed more along that middle trajectory that I was aiming for. I think that's kind of the point. Just kind of feels like I'm skipping that, you know, which I don't mind. All right, so we're gonna ghost again. Okay, let's put a dot there. And of course, I'll come through afterwards and I'll come do these X marks the spot things that it wants you to do. Give me 1 second here. Quickly see if I want to. right. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and come back to here. Okay. And then we'll, yeah, why not? Let's do one there, put a point there, we'll do like that. Because we want to keep them pretty quadrilateral there. Perfect. And then we'll put one there and there. Okay. And we'll put one up here. Ooh, that one was a little more rough. Put one right there. What I'll do is I'll go from that line instead of from where I messed it up. And ghost those together. Okay. Looks like, honestly, looks like it's kind of like putting panels together on a comic, you know? But we're just gonna keep on going on. That works for me. Just gonna make this one a big one. Why not? Pretty good. That's pretty good. You know what? I kind of want to make it thin at the bottom, thick at the top. So we'll aim a little more down trending. Oh, did not commit to that one. So we'll just redraw it and call it good. All right. We should label these. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah. All right. Put one there. Mark out the 4 points. I'm gonna start marking out the 4 points first. Let's make that one go to blue down. Alright, that was perfect, but it was all right. Let's do this just for some whimsy in our life. And for just so you know, I think I probably intend to do some more off stream of these kind of deals. On stream is just going to be me doing exactly what the course wants me to do. You know, like it's where I follow along with the homework exercises. I'll do the 50/50. But if I want to do more outside, I will. I'm not gonna limit myself to not being able to do that. You know what I mean? That was another shot. Oh, I undid, so that's kind of a rough one anyway. 10. And it just feels like I can get a cleaner line out of that ghosting method. That's really nice. What I should do actually is put them at like the top third when I'm labeling them. Yeah, let me just reset the orientation here. Get the eraser, make it a little bit bigger. Get rid of them all without deleting any of the imperfections I've made, of course. Because as we all know, the messy middle is important. We need to show that not all of us are good by default. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll put it where we know that when I end up doing these and that it won't be in the way. All right. So let's just keep going. Do a really large one. Why not? Undershot, but it would have made it. It would have made it. I swear to you, it would have made it. I swear. It could be copium, but I swear. It's all right. Twist it just a little bit again to make it all comfortable. All right, that works. I forgot what number we were at. I think we're at 12. All right. Works for me. I also understand that it's a weird time to be streaming at, well, midday. But, you know, it's all about learning. We go 13 there. Align the lines. pretty good. Do it on the other side. Oh, well, decent. All right, we'll call that, what, 13? Call that 14. Let's make this one just a little bit more fun by putting it in the corner there. Oh, I'm undoing. Oops, falling into the habit. Overshot that. That one was pretty rough. Alright, well, that's okay. We'll move on anyway. It's all for practice. It's not meant to be good. Ideally, it is, though. And that's where we're working towards getting, guys. That's what we want. 15. Oh. I think we can fit one last one in, like, right here. Get us up to 16 in total for the page, I think. Oh, we could probably get one over there, right there. So we could probably get to 18. So first, let's get this in place. All right, that's all right enough with me. Okay, all right. So now we will go up to this top left corner here and zoom out. I think I'll probably reset the orientation for this one. Draw a dot there, a dot there, one there, and one there, because why not? And you know what, we'll just connect that, because that's not a very far line. Stay zoomed out so we can take advantage of the longer stroke. Get some practice with that. Oh, fail. That's okay. Oh, well, that's okay. Those longer strokes are a little harder. So that'll be Mr. 17. And then I know these relate a lot back to perspective, because when you end up doing the line thing in the center and then the twist, this is the midpoint, and then you can use that as like an axis line that sends back the direction of the cube and all that. But very specifically said not to engage with the that aspect of it. So that's what I'll do, is not engage with the aspect of it. All right. That the Welcome Home Columbia, beautiful. Kind of didn't expect that. Oh. Just connect it there. Connect it there. And I think that puts us at our magic 18. And if we look at our little thumbnail up here, that actually looks quite fun. Let's zoom out and check that out. That looks kind of fun. All right, so what I'll do now is work on going through and putting in all those horizontals there. Okay, don't hate that, don't hate that. Okay. Let's make a dot there and a dot there. I suspect this is going to be what takes the longest amount of time. Oh, did not like that. Okay. Dot there and a dot there. Ghosted line. We'll just connect that one because it's close enough. Dot there, dot there. Got that going. Okay. That's good enough. Oh. Good enough. So the idea is that if I get through the center there and there, that is the exact midpoint of this object, and then if I want to extrude it this way, I could follow that and all that. I think. I'm not too sure, actually. But that's my interpretation of it. All right, so we'll ghost that, turn it, ghost that, and then turn it, and then ghost that. Didn't think I needed a dots on that one. Oh. If you see me do like a random stroke like that, it's because I am trying to press R and redo the canvas there. Dot and dot. Go across. All right. We'll do this one zoomed in like this just to force us to use our whole arm. Well, and by us, I mean me. You guys are probably goated little guys. Got this going for you. And I love that you guys are goated. If you have any advice, please let me know. I am not, but yet. I am not yet. But gotta get through this messy middle. Gotta get through this messy middle. Oh, like that. That was not very. That was pretty messy middle. All right, and then we'll ghost here. Okay, put a dot there and a dot there, and then we're going to even it out just slightly. Dot there, dot there. And I've learned that you can kind of do this indefinitely. Like if I wanted to split this one in half, I could do that. And then extrude it from there if I wanted to. And then, you know, I obviously I'm not very good at perspective, but you could. You could theoretically do that. Alright, so let's get to this big middle guy here. Oh, see, like that. That was something. My intention today is going to be starting to draw an environment. I'm not really too sure what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna be looking for it. I'm kind of thinking like a vampire castle. It's kind of where my brain's at right now. It's kind of where my brain's open right now. We'll do these guys next. Good enough there. Would have been fine. Dot there, dot there. Dot there, dot there. Kind of having a good time, honestly. It would help to set a schedule, you know, if any of you guys are watching this VOD after, you know, after the stream's done or anything, if you have some times that would work best for you, let me know. Ooh, I hate that. I hate that. That's not good. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, it could have been worse, but it looks like I over course corrected around right there. We'll put a line there and a line there. Goes those. Put a line there, a line there. Goes those. Not too bad. So I make the entire left side now. Yeah, let's just work in a spiral now. Just work in a spiral now. All right, so it goes here to here. And we'll go here to here. Dot, 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 dot. Feels like around 3 to 10 ghosts are where I start to feel confident. Whether I should be confident or not is a different issue. But that's where I start to feel confident. This one next. Nope. But as I talk about it, once my pen is on the paper, I've committed to it. Any mistakes should not be on my mind anymore. So they won't. Well, they will, but I'm gonna try to take that principle to heart. Let's see. Get that line there. Nope. Here. Got that. Okay, stop the line there. That one was pretty decent. Gotta reward that. Feeling pretty happy with that one. This middle one too. This feels really good. And I mean, what you got to tell yourself is at the end of the day, especially if you're a beginner like I am, you know, you're a beginner. You're not expected to be good. You shouldn't be expected to be good. Oh, that one's probably the worst of the batch, but that's okay. We persist. We move on, and you know what? We finish anyway because that's how you get better. Right, so goes from this corner to corner, close, close, and then we'll go from this corner to this corner. Yep. And so yeah, just ghosting that line. Just it makes it honestly, it just makes it easier. It's less cognitive load. They kind of look like kites. I'm liking it. Think about doing a video where I do 100 of these a day for a week or so. Which is why I'm counting these, because, well, you know, if I do it, then I do it. Might as well count the ones I work here, right? Alrighty. I think these are kind of the key to understanding perspective, honestly. Um, these will help a lot. Yeah, sorry. Again, first stream, I am much more comfortable reading off a script than talking live. It's harder to be entertaining on the fly, especially because I've learned that I'm not really great at talking while drawing. Uh, I imagine that's a skill in its own that perhaps I will get better at as I stream to you guys more here. And you know that's always the goal. I wanna make a community where everything's fun for each other and nobody feels too pressured, you know? Because that's kind of what I wanted when I started learning was I just wanted to be able to share like my bad stuff. Like it's hard to want to draw something when you can't draw anything good. I mean, it's easier as a kid, but as an adult learner, you know, you start at that conscious and competent phase where nothing you're gonna do is gonna make you happy. You know, I think there's a quote by Ira Glass that talks about that, where it's like, you know, your tastes are better than your skill. And because they're better than your skill, your taste, your skill just hasn't caught up. Oh, I meant to ghost that. Your taste just haven't caught up to your, or rather, your skill hasn't caught up to your taste yet. You know, you can't expect it to make anything good, but your taste is killer. And I think that's kind of the step where I fall into, especially because like when it comes to making creative works, when it comes to doing exercises like this, I got this on point. You know, like grinding. I love lit RPGs. I love RPGs. I love grinding. I love grinding. But the the act of grinding in a vacuum is gonna stop you from improving. Because like yeah, if I can draw these planes, I could draw a killer plane. But if I can't draw a killer plane that I can turn into a box, say sending this back in space towards a vanishing point, I mean, I suppose this would be 1 point perspective here. Then it's functionally useless to you, right? Like you gotta learn how to take these skills and bring them into the real world, in my opinion. Which I haven't done a whole lot of myself, actually. Drafting might be one of the first things I've drawn for anything. I mean, and obviously that wasn't for no reason, you know, like wanted to I wanted to start YouTube. I wanted to share what I was doing and get better at art with the community and create a community that we could all be happy with. Um, and I think Drafty was the first time I ever made a piece of art that wasn't purely for practice, you know. It had a goal to it, sure, but it wasn't practice. I sat there and I drew it. I don't know, it probably took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. it helps that I went with a low resolution on him, and I went with something that was simple and easy to redraw if I needed to. Um, but you know, as my skills improve, the notion is that I won't have to, you know, what is easy to redraw for me will get easier and easier, right? So like drafty is probably the upper limit of what I could easily redraw now, but imagine in a year's time when, you know, perspective starts to click a little bit better. Um, is drafty gonna be the apex of my description of my skill level? No, and that's why he's a draft. He is to remind me that it's okay to be that draft while I'm working on becoming something bigger, right? And it's kind of part of the reason. I don't know if I've said this on the channel yet, but I do intend to redraw him every year. I don't know about changing the channel avatar or anything. You know, I want it to be a situation where you remember where the start was, remember the first draft, you know? Um, I'm okay with that. Looks like I've been streaming for about an hour now. And did I get all of them? Let's see. Yep, looks like I got all of them. So on to the next set. Um, yeah, just maybe I'll redraw him, and then what I show in the video is going to be new, or maybe I will update the avatar. Who knows? At that time, I'll think about it. Um, let's see. Yeah, we'll see, and if it feels right, if it feels right to change him all over, I will. If it feels wrong, I won't. You know, maybe I'll start a community poll and we'll see what happens. But for now, it's not something I really care to think about because there's not a whole lot of point. I'm not there yet, but I will be there eventually. And, you know, as Albert Einstein says, the only way to, I think this is Albert Einstein, but the only way to fail is to stop trying. You know what? Before I commit to that, let me just, Albert Einstein failure quote. Failure is a success in progress. You never fail until you stop trying. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. And I think that is a good mentality to have. It's like, how are you really failing if you're trying? No, you're not, of course. Um, and I wouldn't want anybody to think they're failing for trying. You know, like it's kind of what I talk about when I'm talking about gatekeeping in the art community. Obviously, there's gatekeeping of all kinds in every community, but in the art community specifically, it's really easy to forget that you were also once a beginner and you weren't always good, you know? Like some people think about it as somebody was always good at something, and you know, of course, it's it's just not true. You're not always good at it. Some people are, but I imagine they have different sets of problems they have to worry about. If you're, you know, like let's say let's say you're talented in drawing an oval or a circle, right? Well, I mean, that's great, you know, that's something you don't have to work on right now, but what about when it becomes a limiting factor for you? Well, you know, the person that had to draw circles like that to get there, right? They have a deep understanding of what it takes to be here, you know? They have an understanding of how to get out of this and more into the circular shape, you know, like they understand it better rather than just intuitively getting it. And you know, that's not to say that it's not to say that that they don't have an understanding, but it is to say that if they've naturally grasped it, they won't have the intimacy that somebody that did struggle with it would have. Um, and they'll have to take a step back and learn that at some point. You know, like talent's also not linear. I won't argue that it exists, but it's not linear. Oh, let's do a really extremely foreshortened one. Yeah, I think a lot of people will blame it on talent. It's not talent. It's talent, luck. Oh, it's neither of those. You know, and this applies to anything, any skill you're learning. Something I want to take. It's kind of what I want the core principle of this channel to be is like it's not going to be about talent. It's going to be about perseverance and consistency. You know, you don't go to the gym and just suddenly get muscly. You go to the gym for months or years, depending on your starting point, and you start to build the muscle slowly until eventually, you know, somebody looks at you and you stop having to try as hard. Maintenance is easier. Somebody looks at you and goes, "Man, I wish I had that. I wish I was that fit." Same thing with drawing. In my opinion. I do think that if somebody had insane talent and pushed their talent at the same level as somebody who didn't, it would be very demoralizing to compare yourself, right? Because if that person has talent plus grit and you just have grit, for example, then I mean, you both get to a point, right? But this one is going to be, let's just for the sake of argument, this is 100% peak efficiency. You, however, are probably at 75%, and that's okay. It's not a comparison. You shouldn't compare. It's not a comparison game. What you should compare to is yourself. Are you happy with what you're making? And if you are, then who cares what somebody else is making? And if you're not, well, then you know you need to work on it. That's kind of how I see it. Right now, I don't have a schedule because I'm not really sure what my schedule is supposed to be. But once I do have one, you know, I'll start thinking about what I can consistently do stream wise. Let's make a really long one. Let's make a really long, thick one. And once I do, I'll start thinking about times I can stream consistently. Um, you know, it also helped to know what you guys are. And I'm working towards garnering an audience here of everybody. Hoping you guys are liking the channel so far. 9 subscribers, 2 videos. Honestly, I couldn't be more grateful. It's not something I expected at all. But I'm very happy about it. Gotta get some water in. Yeah, I'm very happy about it. I'm glad people seem to be enjoying the content. And I'd like to be able to produce better content for you guys. But I'm not really too sure what, you know, video ideas are kind of hard. It's also hard when I'm a beginner for video ideas because, like, you know, while it'd be wonderful to, oh, here's a mountain scene and some volcanoes and give you guys something really fun to look at in the background. and maybe a house or a bridge or I don't know, something. Um, I'm not I'm not really good at anything yet, you know? So it's hard to give you guys a visual that you might really like. Um, I'm leaning heavier on the narrative side of things, which that also feels a little awkward. Because the videos are scripted. I do make the content and then write down a little script and do a voiceover after, just to try to make it more entertaining and more like it has a purpose for you guys. And right now, I'm kind of really heavily leaning on that to try to. How many am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Um, and I do pretty heavily lean on the narrative structure of it to try to be entertaining because right now I can't produce something that, can give you those drastic visuals and funs that you'd like. I have modified Drafty a bit. You don't see it in the stream here. But I have modified Drafty a bit in hopes that I can make the videos just a little bit more engaging. Um, it's not so much that I have modified Drafty as I just gave him some more poses. Um, it was kind of boring to sit there and look at him just flat by his arms by his side. So I just gave him little nubbins and some poses. Um, one of them is actually in the thumbnail for this stream. Yeah, I wanted to make it a little less flat, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging, and hopefully the topics I'm talking about are enough to keep your interest. If it's not, this no problem. It's not your fault. That's something I gotta learn. And hopefully, we can get there together. Just trying to build our own little community. If you like me, drop a subscribe, drop a follow, join in for these streams every now and then. If you don't, no skin off my back, no skin off your back. Just here to have a good time. I do also really enjoy gaming. Specifically, I enjoy hard games. I'm not much of a gamer. I definitely prefer to read or spend my pastime studying or doing something kind of more productive, so to say. But I do occasionally enjoy partake in some gaming. I like Binding of Isaac a lot. I think Binding of Isaac is a lot of fun. Um, I like Elden Ring. Binding of Isaac's not terribly hard. I think it's got a little bit of a learning curve, but once you're past it, it's not too bad. I do like Elden Ring though. I do like Dark Souls, just really all the Souls games. I don't think any of them are bad. Um, well, I don't like Dark Souls 2. We don't talk about Dark Souls 2. But I do think they're all fun. I think the hardest one is by far Sekiro, just because it doesn't play like your typical Souls game. But again, nonetheless, it is fun. Let's see, what other games can I play? I've played Minecraft here and there, but I can't do Minecraft unless it's modded. Modded Minecraft is where it's at for me. And honestly, I miss the golden age of Tekkit. Let's see. I mean, I have like hundreds of games on Steam. The question is, how many of them have I actually played? Um, I do also really like. What was I talking about? I like roguelikes in general. I like Dead Cells. I like Enter the Gungeon. Gungeon's pretty good. I was really into Valorant for a long time. Watch this. I'll draw a straight line with my mouse. That's clean, right? That's all that aim training. But yeah, I really liked Valorant. Despite my more seemingly chill demeanor, um, video games do have a tendency to make me angry. So, I think I just end up taking it too seriously. It's kind of, again, kind of like the art thing. I set an expectation for myself that nobody else has. And I just get a little too stuck on that. Especially in Valorant. So I just stopped playing because it felt like it was becoming unhealthy and something I could recognize as unhealthy. And so I went, yeah, I'm gonna move on from here. It doesn't add enough to my life. I don't intend to go pro, like I don't. Oh, I don't intend to go pro. Hey, like why am I putting myself in this much emotional stress for this? And yeah, I haven't played for a while, and honestly, I don't regret it. CS:GO is one of those games that kind of like fits that Valorant one, but I don't really particularly love it. Um, so I never got really too hyper focused on being good at it, which is great because if I want to, I can play CS:GO. I haven't since well, let's go look. Hold on. Throw over to Steam here. CS Counter-Strike 2. Last time I opened it was September 4th, 2024. So it's been a minute. Probably since around the update or so, I guess. I don't really know. Um, I do like League of Legends, but that one is kind of just a time waster. It's less so that I'm gonna get angry at something, more so that like, the game takes like an hour and you're probably not just playing one game. So I'm I'm not looking to spend 4 hours. Not looking to spend 4 hours with something like that. It just kind of wastes, in my opinion, it's kind of a waste of time. If you weren't looking, I mean, like if you're looking to go pro or you're doing what I'm doing now, like streaming, and you're trying to make a living out of it, great. Like that's absolutely fantastic. But it was never an aspiration of mine. Truth be told, content creation in general was never really an aspiration of mine, but I started doing it here and having fun with it. I think a lot of it boiled down to it's hard to put yourself out, which is ultimately why, again, the why I decided to take the step was because I wanted to share my art and have some more accountability to it. Um, but it's hard. It's hard to put yourself in the public eye like that. I'm not a very shy person. Um, Truth be told, I was thinking about doing a face channel, but the more I looked at content in the Webtoon niche, which is where I'm sitting, right? The more I was like, wow, people don't really show their face in this niche, which is fine. I mean, like in my term one review, Mark School's term one review, sorry, art school, Mark Bernay, term one review. I did a self portrait for term two. I mean, my face is in there. I don't. It's not that I have anything. It's not that I really care. It's more that like if if the general populace that likes this kind of content is also going to like a little guy on the screen, I probably will also like a little guy on the screen. Got to make it more entertaining for you guys. It's my goal. Uh, it's always my goal. I'd like to be entertaining for you guys. But yeah, so I did a lot of research on well, content creation in general, but I really wanted to make content that people would enjoy. And so instead of just content that I would enjoy or content that would be boring, put a bit of research into it and tried to find some content that people would like and what the general things people would like, and stick with that. And I'm not sad I did, because again that led me to learning that this niche generally likes mascot characters on the screen, and honestly, I really like Drafty. I've had dreams about Drafty. Um, I think this is a really fun character. It's not like character design wise, there's not a whole lot of interest going on. I have ideas for that, and I promise you, they will get implemented. But again, it's something I want to implement after I've done a a lot more growing. I want to make him a more interesting character. I want you to see him involved with me, and I intend to make sure I keep all of the information for Drafty. So like if I do move on from Drafty, and who knows, maybe people don't like it, maybe people want me to stick with old Drafty, which well honestly would be great. I love this dude. But just for the sake of argument, let's say people hated a new Drafty version. Well, hey, you can always roll back. That's the point of the blueprint. That he's the draft. He's the blueprint. He's the starting point. Um, and you could always take a step back. You could always enjoy it more. And that's what I'm aiming for. And it's if I end up making him a character, that's okay, because he's the draft. He's meant to be that guiding light for people. Or that's what I want out of it. I mean, of course, you're free to interpret Drafty in any which way you want. I like spending time thinking about how to grow him. I like the idea of making. Obviously, I mean, if you haven't seen the face reveal, Drafty is minorly based off of me. But I want him to be something everybody can relate to. And I hope by designing him pretty generically that everybody can relate to him. Part of me is I'm really not too sure what I want to work on after all this. Do I want to do an environment? Do I want to work on maybe like a little PNG tuber guy for my cousin who did not ask, by the way. So maybe that'd be overstepping a little bit. But could always be considered fan art, I suppose. He's got a shtick. Not a content creator, but he's got a shtick. I think for now, just because I'm working on perspective, I'll work towards an environment. And I will say, as I've done this more and more, drawing and talking is getting easier. Just kind of talking about whatever's on my mind. That being said, sometimes I do kind of end up going into a ramble, like Drafty. I probably repeated myself 2 or 3 times there before I said anything of substance or value. But that's okay. Again, it's a blueprint. 23. You know what? Let's just make one big one right here. Good. Nope. Actually, you know what? Nah, we'll make one big one. We'll make one big one. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I think this is actually kind of relaxing, kind of therapeutic. I'm also like totally open to advice, guys. Like if you end up joining the stream and feel like you want to say something, feel free. Obviously, don't be mean. um, I'm cool. I'm cool with harsh critique, but don't just make it unconstructive. It's got to be constructive. If it's not constructive, I will probably time you out. um, because it's not. I mean, that doesn't help anybody, right? Like if you're just telling me I'm an awful artist and you know, like I'll never be able to draw anything good. I don't know. So I'm just making stuff up at this point, but if you say something like harsh that has no value to it, you're not helping anybody. You're just being mean. And why do you want to be mean? That's how I see it. All right. Yeah, I'd love to hear for anybody that's been watching the channel here. What kind of music would you like to hear in the background? You know, like obviously you have to use some copyright-free music. And right now I'm using just a copyright-free YouTube playlist. Um, in the videos, I use YouTube's little library, um, just to try to get some vibes going. Generally, I just keep it pretty mellow. But if you'd like lo-fi, kind of like what I've got going on now, you know, I could always look into that, seeing how that goes, seeing how that rolls. I think it's really good music to vibe to, if I'm being honest. I think as I've been doing these, I've been getting better at this exercise here. I like to think that. I like to hope that. And guys, another important thing is like there's grinding and it is important. Obviously, if you're a beginner, you need to have some skill in order to create something that you personally would be happy with. But if you are a beginner and you want to create something, just give it a shot. You know, don't expect it to be good. Don't hold yourself to any standards. Just create it. I understand it's really hard. And you know, it's something I still struggle with right now. You know, like I functionally I am telling you to do as I say, not as I do. But I promise you, the sooner you can get past that phase where you're critical of all your art and unhappy with everything you're doing, the sooner you're going to be able to enjoy it. And you know, like it's again, it's helping me a lot to do that, right? Like drafty, when I was drawing drafty, that's probably some of the most fun I've had with art. Um, it's probably some of the most stressful time I've had with art, but I imagine the more you do it, the more fun you have with it, the less aversion you're gonna have to just doing something for fun. You know, like I think a big part for me is like I practiced I practiced art in a vacuum. So you know, like essentially what I'm doing right now, where I'm doing these exercises, but if I don't ever do anything with this, what's the point, right? Like if I can say just in here real quick, right? Here's a horizon line, and here's VP2, vanishing point 2, here's VP1, vanishing point 1, and I can block out a, well, a block, right? But I can't freehand a little guy in to draw a character am I ever really gonna have a good time? You know, like, am I ever really gonna learn how to use these principles of perspective that I've put in practice for if I'd never try to use it? You know, like, I think it's important to try. Is essentially what this boils down to. So if you haven't tried yet, go give it a shot. You know, like, the worst that happens is you make something you don't like and nobody will ever know. Of course, unless you share it. So, like, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be drawing probably a landscape. I'm thinking like a little vampire castle, um, maybe on a hill. But if you have any expectation it's going to turn out good, maybe taper those a little bit. They're not. It's not going to be good. But it's going to be me trying. And, maybe I'll spend several streams working on it. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's going to be me trying. And I think that will help consolidate those skills. But also, if you don't get enough sleep, sleep's important too. Like, grinding is important. That's how you get the muscle memory and gain these skills. But if you're grinding a bunch and you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to ever really fully absorb the content that you're learning. Sleep is a vital part of functioning for anything, weightlifting or well, studying. Like, sleep is probably the most important factor for any of it. I would wager to say changing your sleep habits could change your life. With no science backing it all, but, well, maybe science, but who knows? But that's the way I view it. I think sleep is so highly important. I know that you can get too much sleep too, though. You can get too much and end up feeling sluggish. You can also end up getting too little and end up feeling sluggish. So just keep that in mind. There is an optimal amount. I think for most people it tends to land somewhere between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. Some people can do just fine on 6. Some people need 9. My girlfriend, she probably needs closer to 9. But me, on the other hand, I don't. I do it because I know how healthy it is, and at one point in my life, I didn't know how healthy it was. But I do know how healthy it is now. But there was a point in my life where I only slept for a few hours a night because I wanted to get more done in the day. But now I've realized how important it is to care for your sleep. I think it helps a lot with clarity. Helps a lot with focus, I think. And I'm hoping that you guys sleep enough. Make sure you drink enough water too, guys. All right. Water also important. I don't think people realize how important water is. It's okay though. I realize how important it is and still somehow don't get enough water in. I try to drink about a gallon a day as a dude that is either average or slightly above average height. I think it's important. Seems about 96 ounces is my touch point. 96 seems to be the minimum I can get and not be over drinking or under drinking. A gallon might be bordering over drinking, but is what I aim for most days. Just because it's an ACT number. My water bottle is 64 ounces, so drink 2 of them, call it a day. Try to be a little bit more cognizant of it if I'm working out. On a day where I'm not sweating a ton, I'm not pressed about getting all my liquid in. Well, I don't know, sometimes I am. That one felt pretty clean. And yeah. So, have you guys I know nobody's here right now, but have you guys ever tried DrawABox? How do you guys feel about it? Think it's a worthwhile activity or what? This is the first time I'm ever trying DrawABox. Like I've said, I've only drawn for, I don't know, give or take 100 hours. Actively, I mean, obviously I've drawn in the past, passively here and there, just to see, just to draw. But it's not something I ever took seriously until very recently, until the beginning of this year, I think. I had drawn, and like just like as a kid, like I used to draw a guy that looked something like this. I think I called him a ninja. Yeah. I used to draw this guy a lot as a kid. Called him a little ninja guy. Had fun, but that's probably the extent of my drawings. Never really actively pursued it, which is a shame because it's something that I do think I genuinely have a passion for. I really enjoy doing it. It's just there's hard times where it's like, well, is the effort I'm putting in paying off? And I might talk about, maybe I'll make a video about how, motivation changes and all that. I think a big thing that's helped me through that is just recognizing it and allowing myself to move past it, like it's less so motivation and more so willpower, because motivation fades. At some point you're going to stop having fun, and what's going to push you through that and to get back to the motivation phase is discipline and doing it anyway, regardless of fun or not, and practicing. I think it's important to always have fun, really, but if for whatever reason you're not, doing a quick, oh, there's a gesture where, and then and then just doing something quick and loose, right? Just to stay in the habit. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Because that's the other thing too, people I think don't really think about is it's not about having perfect days every day. It's about showing up every day. That's the way I see it, or try to see it. Obviously, I'm not a perfect human. I have days too where it feels really hard, and honestly, recently it's been one of them. This perspective thing, finishing the Mark Brunet's art school. Spent 8 weeks, roughly 130 hours in total there, and it felt like I obviously I had made progress, but it felt like I hadn't made the amount of progress that I felt like I should be making given the time investment. But I think that's also, like art isn't linear, and I think art probably out of every medium, well, out of most mediums or skills, I think art is one that is really hard as a beginner. I think it's one where we don't get good until we're practiced, and it's hard to see anything good and stick with it because, well, you're not having fun drawing, you're learning to draw. But if you can push past that, imagine the things you'll be able to create eventually, right? Like so much cool stuff, like sky dragons, you know. Of course, like I want to create a webtoon, and I think a big thing here is like a lot of webtoons are going to be panels, right? Like if this was a webtoon, right? What I'm drawing here, this could have been a hallway down a corridor, right? Like everything can be broken down into these panels. Um, Obviously, I don't think that's DrawABox intention, but it is something that, you know, drawing these, I've had the thought of is like, oh, it could be a wall in a background, or it could be a dialogue box, maybe, you know? Oh shit. Um, but yeah, it's rough. It's a rough one to start. And I think we should all be a little bit more gentle on ourselves when we start something like this. Because like I said, I mean, like who actually expects you to be good except for yourself, you know? If you've been drawing for 10 days, who expects you to be good? And you know, like I've been drawing, this is day 61 for me as of this. Yeah, I think that's right. Um, but I've been drawing for 61 days now. I think people would hear that and go, "Oh, and you're not good at it yet?" Um, and my counterpoint to that is that no, I'm not good at it. And I think this has a very steep learning curve, but I am capable of it. And I wasn't capable of it before. I've learned a lot, and I'm equipped with the tools to be able to draw an oval, to be able to draw a circle, to be able to draw a triangle, to be able to draw a square. Um, I mean, even a pyramid or a cube or something, right? Like I'm equipped with these tools, and while I'm not adept at using them, yeah, I can use them. Um, and that's something to note. That's all I'm saying. Just notice that you have wins. Uh, a big one for me has been noticing how much I'm capable of in less time rather than something that looks better. So I think I redrew. I think I redrew it, but I think I redrew my day 0 starting point before I took the course or before I started practicing drawing at all. It was like a Pikachu, somebody in like a fighting stance in a box, and I had no time limit when I initially started drawing, and I don't honestly, that first drawing probably took me 30-40 minutes, give or take, for that, and then I redrew it from memory um afterwards, and I was capable of drawing something I think was much better and much faster. I think it took me like 10 minutes, give or I don't know, give or take 10 minutes. Um, took me 10 minutes compared to the 40 it took to do the thing before, you know? And that's improvement, no matter how you slice it, right? You're improving with that. And I think it's important to notice that those improvements on a smaller scale. I think that's the way I'm trying to put it. Again, you know, I'm just saying what comes to mind, and I know I'm repeating myself a lot here. That was a clean one for not ghosting. I should have been ghosting, huh? Um, I'd like to hear what do you guys do for practice, you know? I think I think that's fun. Somebody left a comment on one of the videos not too long ago, and they were talking about how it's less so about churning and more so about the angles you use. And I thought that was an interesting point. I've never thought about the angles while drawing something at all, right? And I thought that was, you know, that's a fresh and unique take, right? Well, from the way I understand things, it's a fresh and unique taste. And I think maybe it's something I'll end up taking to my art, but even if it's not something I end up taking into my art, it's something to learn from nonetheless, right? And I think if you stop looking at it as a demand and more so as like a this is how I handle it, maybe it'll help you. Even when people are demanding it, I think it'll feel a little less scary, a little less imposing. And that's something I really want to strive for. I don't I don't want anybody to feel like they can't share their art because they're scared. I want them to be scared and share their art anyway because they feel comfortable. Oh, I got a ghost. I forgot. Okay. And let's see. Do I have a result? Yeah, looks like I got them all here. So that means what we're gonna do is have a little fun and go to a let's see, let's just go for okay. We'll go here, press okay, and now we start our 1 minute and 48, no, 1 hour 48-minute drawing session here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull up a timer. 1 hour 48-minute time, and we can get started. So yes, I'm thinking I want a let's grab a line tool, I think, and I'll bump up its thickness. We'll do this as rule of thirds because that is something I know about. I'll go ahead and make a third. So give or take, that's right. And then so I think what I'll do is I will have, where do I want this castle sitting is the important thing. Maybe castle around right here. I think I want it to be looked up at. And then what I'll do is I will start another new layer, rule of thirds, and then what I'm going to do is pick a different quadrant, which I think in this case is going to be let's do the line tool. We'll do this, 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 and then this, and this. Oh, no. This and this. And then we can pick a second focal point, which will lead, I think, into the castle. So yeah, I think maybe like a group of bats right here would be interesting. And then, so ideally what happens is it flows, flats flow to here. Something flows. Yeah. All right. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And then we'll go ahead and do this. And then in one, I want you to lead down over to here. Well, let's first get it. Oh, that was a clean line though. Gotta admit. We'll get this, and we'll get this, and this. So we have our thirds, and then what I'm looking for is 2 more to get thirds there. And then we'll do 3 here. We'll have this be, I don't know. What I will do though is have this be bats, and I'll have this be castle. And I should, all I have to do is lower this opacity down. Yep. And then I'm gonna worry about framing. So coming back to this, doing black, let's make this white again because it's gonna annoy me if I don't. Oh, okay, line tool. We'll do this. 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 And then do that. Do that. Do that. Oh. Do that. Do that. No, do that. All right. So everything important should go inside of this frame. Which is also going to be dialed down a bit. So yeah, every focus should be in this spot here. And next up is going to be, I think we will do a 2-point perspective. And where should this be? Have that one slightly out, and this one, oh, I forgot it does that. This one much further out. And then what I'll do is I will take a black line again and drag it across. And then I will take a red line and oh. Make our grid markings here. So if I hide that, does that read well? I think yes. So we'll put it back on, we'll grab blue, and we'll drag it out from here. All right, so if I do that now, are we seeing a little grid going on? If I hide, yep, looks pretty all right to me. So what I want to do now is just lower that so it's less in the way. Bring up this rule of thirds again, and then we'll get the cooking. What do I want on here? Let's go with a graphite pencil. I think, do I want the horizon line right at the middle? Maybe I don't want the horizon line right at the middle. I don't think I want the horizon line in the middle. I think I would rather have it be low, like down here. Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Maybe like up here. Nah, we'll do it. We'll do it dead center. We'll do it dead center. I think that's fine. Okay. So, let's see. What do I want to do here? Turn this off. I think, let's Google a picture of a like a Gothic castle. Or a Gothic tower, maybe? I think I'm thinking more tower. I'm certainly thinking more tower coded. Okay. So what I'll do then is go ahead and it's 2 points, so I want vanishing points. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want the height to end? We'll probably have it end right here. And then stop like right there. Right? Yes. So draw a straight line, and then we'll follow that convergence line for there, and 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 then connect the dots just to get those big shapes in. And then do I want something on the side here? I think I do. So we'll go ahead and go like that. And we're not doing DrawABox anymore, so I don't really mind. Okay. A little bit more out. Let's see. That should be the basics. And then let's see. We'll do that. Yes, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. But I don't think I want it to be there. I think I want it to be there. And then Maybe like a tree there. Path that leads off screen, maybe, of like cobblestone. And let's see. Ooh, you know what could be fun? Okay, hold on. I want to rework this. What I'll do is have yeah, that works. Maybe something like this, where it looks like the bats are coming out. No. Or behind. Yes, I think I'm cool with that. And so looking at the thumbnail here, do I like the way that's checking so far? I do. Alright, so maybe I follow that back. And then I have little indents here that I can get rid of. Okay, and then I think in the case of this, I kind of would like it to be more round. But we'll worry about that later. I just wanted to put that roof on. And then, so I got, let's see. I think I like that. And then Really consolidate that ground plane there. And then for now, we'll just... And then we'll do some lighter ones in the background that just happen to be bigger. I do want this mode to be cut off. And I want the attention to stay in the frame right here. So what, something I could add here that would... Maybe just like a rocky terrace, like super far in the background, and then question is, what do I want here? Hello, how are you? Sorry, I got really focused on the... I got really focused on the drawing. um, Stuck up there. Oh, really? My bad. Well, thanks for coming along. I'm having a great time. I did a bunch of DrawABox stuff earlier, and it's got that whole 50% rule. So here we are, and I got super focused on it. This is one of the first pieces I'm drawing, like, without a reason, but I don't really know how to. Yeah, I was tabbed out into looking at Gothic towers, so I forgot to tab back into the chat. Suppose it's something to learn. Let's see. Very, yeah. But as I preach, I try to make a point of make it fun. Let's see. Worst case, worst, it's bad, and I move on. All right, so maybe. How do I feel about that? Not loving that. Let's see. I would like to have maybe something that does like that. like that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I figured, if anything, it'll let me know where I'm not understanding something. There. What have you been working on? Got any fun projects? All right, that looks more interesting. I think. How do I like that though? I don't. What's design? See, now that's something I have at least a little bit more knowledge about. Design is the Sonic the Hedgehog female character. Oh, okay. Oh. Let's see. I'm gonna do a Google. I think the only, and I don't even know her name. I think the only Sonic character I know off the top of my head is the one that looks like a bat. Sonic character bat. Rogue? I think that looks right. She was one of my favorites, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. What do I want to do here? I think I would like to have this end up a little bit more round. Where does this go to? This goes to there. Okay. Oh, Rouge? Okay. I don't know. We're learning today. Did you enjoy that one? Ooh. I'd love to see it. I'm gonna be honest, one of the things I'm really looking forward to in our little community here is checking out everybody's art. Okay, let's see. I don't really know what this could be, but I'll figure it out. No, 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 yeah, that's fine. No worries, no pressure to share. But if you ever feel like it, I'm always down to look. This does not feel like it matches at all. Oh, that explains a lot. This is wrong. There we go. That's better. I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. And this goes like that. Okay. That's good enough. But I don't like that. Maybe I do like that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. For now, I gotta keep this. I think a big thing for me is I gotta figure out how to keep it simple. Keep it stupid simple, you know? Thickness layer. Just go like that. How do I feel about that? Nope, nope, don't like that at all. I was looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at the wrong thing. Let's make it darker to represent that. Um, I'll get rid of this real quick. Well, how's your day been otherwise? It's quite, it's about a little past midday where I'm at right now. Oh no. I That sucks. I have some kitties with me too. You hate to hear it. Are they okay? Roughly, roughly get rid of that. Should we find some kidney issues to do it? Oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm glad she'll be fine at least. My my children. One's never really a problem child. The other one, he never really. He's pretty bad. He's like a big cuddly dog, but he goes to the vet a lot. He eats things he shouldn't eat. It's really hard to keep him out of anything. This to be like a little clock. Okay. Um, to that. Just a little. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I love little kitties. My partner's cat had, growing up, her cat had polydactyly, and I always thought that was an interesting tidbit of information. I never really knew what that was prior. And we'll go like that. I think that's shaping up to something I'd like. turn that off. It won't be seen from the back, so I'm just cut that off a little bit. See a little bit between. If you don't mind sharing, can I ask what her name is? What about? Yeah. Lilith? That's a great name. That's a great name. I love that. Our two cats are named Lilith, and we call him Big Man, but his legal name is Astaroth. Which is always a surprise for people, but how do I feel about this? Yeah, they're cuties. Just... Zoom out. I'm in love with it, but I don't hate it. Yeah, he gets himself worked up about food so often, and you have to monitor him pretty carefully. I think a really big contention point for me is how do I turn this into a cylinder or more round? Do I like that? Yeah, that's fine. Like that. Right now I'm trying to be a little bit more sketchy, which does feel a little wrong. I think it's a pretty alright place to be. Get rid of that guy. He no longer belongs there. Man, I love cats. Sorry, I was thinking about cats. They're so cute. People that say they hate you don't know what they're talking about. They don't hate you. They never hate you. That. That works fine. And we'll do. These things generally have interesting little window tidbits on them. Take a corner off there. Should be told, this might be some of the most fun I've had doing art in a while. How do I feel about this? Okay, so what I want is some... Man, I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time, but it is kind of hard occasionally to not like look at that like messy middle I talk about. It is sometimes a little demoralizing to see how far I have left to go. But, you know, I know we'll get there. Do I hate this? Let's see. I just want to imply it. Because this leads back. Yeah. This makes sense. This makes sense, I think. We'll do this. I think perspective for me is always going to be one of the hardest to get right, for lack of a better term. Like, it just, this doesn't feel like it comes intuitively to me, unfortunately. But I'm not hating it. That's kind of the biggest reason I decided to take that step back, was I was like, I feel like I can't really afford to go much longer without really truly understanding it. So I've done quite a bit of studies, and I also decided it was pretty important to, you know, actually do it rather than just study it in hopes that I get better. Get rid of that. Do I like this? Yeah, that's fine. Well, hey, that means there's plenty of room to grow, you know? So I'm gonna try to look at it anyway. All right. Some organic rocky shapes in here. I'm just trying to have fun with the journey, I think is a big one for me. I really want to get good at it, of course, but especially starting YouTube, you know, being good is a back burner. I really want to just make more connections with people. It does feel a little bit more freeing streaming, not having to think of a script and then say it to make it entertaining, but also I'm probably horrendously less entertaining. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. I think obviously there'll be days here and there where there'll be struggles, but I feel like that just kind of comes with the territory. Do you stream at all? Make it just kind of more interesting. Used to? Did you do like gaming content or did you do drawing and or like what did you aim for? All right, let's see. Seems segment it. Yeah, if it makes you feel better. That's exactly what I did when you joined here. It is a struggle. It really is. What kind of games do you like? That's fair. That's fair. It is really hard. I can't deny it. It is really hard to focus and draw at the same time. Puzzle or factory games? Did you play any like Satisfactory or anything? Take out that part. Wink, and then just give it some more character. Played Satisfactory before. I think that one's pretty fun. Let's see. Factorio is a game I played, but the 2D art, the 2D like art, really was making my brain confused. I I haven't played much Minecraft, but I really do like the create mod. Shapes 2? Let me give that a quick Google here. Oh, this looks pretty fun. I do like factory games. Anything that you can hyper optimize, ooh, I'm with it. I love it. Um, really big fan of that. Let's see. Let's get some random grass blades here and there. Just make it feel less dead. Did you ever what kind of puzzle games do you play? My girlfriend's really been wanting to play the escape room one, and honestly, it looks kind of fun. Let's see. Nanograms. Oh, this looks fun. Um, oh, I might have to do some of these in my free time. Yeah, it looks like a ton of fun. Do I like this? I think I don't hate it. I don't think I love the moon. I did that. Yeah, of course. I'm a very big believer in you don't know what you don't know, right? So how do I carve this to be something fun? The vertical line. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to figure out how to see it with the line still there, so I could still carve into it if I needed to. But honestly, darkening it probably would help a ton. or lightening it. What do I like? So I want it to look a little bit like a crumpled can. Um, no, I am totally open to critique at all times. Because how are you supposed to get better if you're not willing to accept that you're wrong, you know? That's too much. That's too much. That's too much. Yeah, no. Truth be told, half the reason I'm attempting this is because it's way out of my skill level. Um, I don't really. I think it'll help me see like where I really need to drive home. Like I need to practice this. You know what I mean? Like for example, I can already tell some of these are off. Like I think this isn't as good as it was, but because of this, I had to force this. I think there's quite a bit I could have done better there. But if I'm being honest, I didn't think I'd even be capable of getting this far. So thank you. I appreciate that. I think I want to. I've been keeping track of the time. I don't know if I've said this in a video or not yet. I've been keeping track of the time that I've spent doing art. And I think I'm at rough. I don't know what it is with the stream added on top. I haven't added it yet, but I think with the stream, it's roughly I've spent 135 hours, give or take, learning how to draw. And it's one of those things where the impression I had going in is that I'd be much better by now, and I'm thinking about talking about that one of these days. Um, of like, truth be told, this learning curve is like flat until it starts to go up a little bit, very very slowly, and it feels like it stops again, kind of like a that kind of thing. Uh, or at least this kind of feels how what I've done so far is kind of like I get a little bit better and then I kind of like teeter out and then oh there's a little bit more, you know. I know professional artists who are intimidated by perspective and won't even try to learn it in depth. I think the issue is I don't want it to be a crutch for me, you know? Is it really? Is that like a true? Is that a true statement? That's interesting. Good to know. Wow. Damn. That's really good to know. That's huge. I've never really thought about it compared to another profession, especially another profession that's relatively difficult. Like, that's crazy. Do you happen to have a pilot's license? Just out of curiosity. You know, I'm sorry to hear that. I I have glaucoma, and from what I understand, because I have that as a medical diagnosis, I could not pursue certain careers because of that. But most of the ones I'm interested in aren't a problem. Oh wow, time has passed. It's almost 4. I'm gonna have to end the stream in about 4 minutes or so here. I gotta go pick up my girlfriend. I do have a lot of hours at art. How long how long have you been drawing? I know I was looking at the Discord there, and I know that you have marked as beginner to, or sorry, intermediate to advanced. Oh, I'm super excited. I'm stoked. All in all, I think for a first real shot at using perspective, this isn't too horrible. I think we're getting places with this one. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, I've been drawing since I was a kid. I started seriously studying in 2019. Oh, so you haven't been at it for terribly long either, actually. Do you have any of your old drawings? I'd love to see the comparison at some point. But yes, I am gonna have to leave now. Get out, 20-minute or so drive. But I think I probably will start streaming at least 2 or so times a week, give or take, and having fun with it. All right, Samith, have a good afternoon. Enjoy your day. Bye, everybody.